If you're a sports fan, make sure you go check out SportsCastr for all of your sports news. Whether you are a Patriots fan or not, this is the perfect way to meet all of your sports needs and is a platform I personally use myself in case any of you guys want to catch me live talking about training camp recaps, etc. I'll leave a link in the description below. What is up, Pats Nation? It's Patriots Global back here with another video, and in this one, I thought I would do a little injury update for you guys because the New England Patriots are dealing with a significant amount of injuries, not just on offense, not just on defense, but really throughout the entire team. So I thought I would give you guys a list of the injured players and really just an update on them, whether we know what's wrong with them or not, along with a timetable on a possible return. Like always, if you guys would like to get a shout out here in my next YouTube video here on Patriots Global, all you got to do is send a picture of yourself rocking your Patriots Global merchandise, whether that's a shirt, a hoodie, a phone case, no matter what it be. If you guys would like to get some merch, link in the description below. So, as we already know, the New England Patriots kind of started off training camp with a good amount of injuries. Julian Edelman's already on the PUP list. You had Nate Ebner, who was on the PUP list. He actually came off. You had Ken Webster, who is a rookie this year. He was on it, but he finally came off. And you also have Demaryius Thomas, who is still on there. But the Pats have really accumulated a lot more players on this injury list, especially today, the Patriots' first day in Tennessee with the Tennessee Titans for joint practice. Zach Cox from NESN actually came out on Twitter today and gave us a list of the injured pass catchers that the Patriots currently have. All right, and this consists of Julian Edelman, Demaryius Thomas, N'Keal Harry, Matt LaCosse, Cameron Meredith, Steven Anderson, Philip Dorsett, and Maurice Harris. And obviously this list is really the exact opposite of what you want. Of course, Julian Edelman, who's going to be your number one receiver this upcoming season. You have Demaryius Thomas, a veteran who a lot of people thought would have a great chance here in New England. You have N'Keal Harry, who is their first round pick. You have Matt LaCosse, who some are saying is between your first and second tight end going into this season. You have Philip Dorsett, who is really a roster lock if you think about it because of his history with the team, and Maurice Harris, who has been a standout with the team ever since joining New England. Now let's first start off with Matt LaCosse. As we all know, Matt LaCosse suffered an injury last week in the first preseason game against the Detroit Lions, not too far into the game. Looks like he got rolled over and he was actually then diagnosed with an ankle sprain. Now he did not join the team with the trip to Tennessee, but it is said that he should not miss a ton of time and that he should definitely be ready to go by week 1 of the regular season, which of course is what you want. Now moving on to first round pick wide receiver N'Keal Harry. Now he is said to be dealing with a very minor injury. We don't know exactly what that is, whether it's ankle, hamstring, whatnot, but he first got injured on, I believe, the second day of joint practice with the Detroit Lions. There was a lot of people speculating that he was not going to play in the preseason game, but then we saw him suited up. We saw him out there practicing, in which he did play. Now, his second catch of the game, the one where he went up for that very contested catch, he actually, after that play, got up limping. It looked like a defender actually rolled over him. He tried to play the following snap, but the Patriots coaches urged him off the field. He did not practice in the last day of training camp in Gillette, but he did travel with the team to Tennessee. He was limited in the first day of joint practice with the Titans. But the fact that he, of course, made the trip, the fact that he's limited and not actually out of the game is a very good sign. Now, I don't expect him to play at all versus the Titans, but he should be ready to go by week 1. As for Cameron Meredith already was dealing with an injury when the Patriots actually signed him. If you want to know more about the injury and him as a player, I made an entire video to that. I'll try to remember to link it in the description below. But we don't really know a timetable for his possible return. As for Steven Anderson, we actually haven't heard why he's been injured or why he's been out. So that's, of course, a very interesting thing to watch. Now, as for Philip Dorsett, he's one of those guys that actually sustained an injury today in our first day of joint practice with the Titans. Now, he left practice early after making a deep catch down on the sidelines. It appears to be a hip injury. Nothing is official, but it's what it appears to be, or at least something on his side. He returned later to practice, but in street clothes, so he was not in his football gear. We haven't heard anything else about Dorsett. Of course, this news is still very fresh. We don't know how serious it is or how serious it isn't, but the fact that he, of course, came back out onto the field kind of indicates that shouldn't be anything too severe. Now, Maurice Harris actually also got injured today. It's unclear what happened or why it happened. He ended up not having his shoe on and ended up just taking a knee and watching the rest of practice. So if I did have to guess, I would say it's probably something to do with his foot. Now, of course, I could be totally wrong, but the fact that he has his shoe off and he's kneeling and just watching the game kind of indicates there might be something involved with that. Now, Damien Harris, the Patriots rookie running back, is actually also dealing with an injury. He was not doing much today in practice. Jeff Howie actually came out with a report that said he's dealing with a minor hand/wrist injury. Now, we don't know how long this has been going on, but keep in mind that Damien Harris did sit out versus the game against the Lions last week. No one really knew why. A lot of us expected him to play, but it would make a lot of sense if this is something that he was dealing with for a while, and that's why he didn't play versus the Lions. But because he is still dealing with this minor injury and he has been somewhat limited, I would not expect him to play versus the Titans. Now, another injured player and a guy to watch is actually defensive tackle Danny Shelton. Now, there was reports even previous to today's practice that he was dealing with some type of injury, but today he was limited in practice. He left early to do some sprints on the side and did not participate in 11-on-11s. Now, this doesn't seem too serious, but in the end, it is still an injury and it is still something to watch, and they're going to be cautious with Danny Shelton going forward. Now, something else to watch is going to be linebacker Elandon Roberts. Now, we don't know if he's dealing with an injury. We don't know if something personal happened. We don't know if he was just really dehydrated today because it was a very, very hot day in practice. Dan Skipper actually did leave practice early today because he was dehydrated. But Elandon Roberts did leave today's practice early, and no one really knows why he left or what happened. So, of course, that's something to monitor and just make sure of. Something else to just make sure you're monitoring is another linebacker, and that's Jamie Collins. He actually was absent from today's practice. Now, of course, that doesn't mean injury, but in the end, he was absent, and we don't know why, so something to just keep in mind. Now, to try to end this on a bit of a brighter note, tight end Lance Kendricks seems to be fine after he sustained what is believed to have been a head injury. He seems to be back at practice, a full go, and I expect him to play versus the Titans. Also, Isaiah Wynn is doing a lot more than usual. Now, he definitely is still not 100%, but he is making a lot more progress day by day. In the end, from what I said, you can obviously tell that the Patriots are dealing with way more injuries offense-wise, more so to deal with these pass catchers, these running backs, the wide receivers, the tight ends. And while it is a bad thing, the best way you can look at this is that guys like Jacoby Myers and Braxton Berrios are actually getting more reps. They're getting put higher. They're getting more plays with the first team. And so they're really getting their chance right now, their last push to make this 53-man roster. And of course, for Jacoby Myers at this point, he's going to make the roster. But for someone like Braxton Berrios, he needs to prove himself. And at the first day of joint practice with the Titans, he actually has been doing pretty good. So hopefully he can keep it up and translate that onto the field on Saturday. But that is it for today's video. That was a little injury update, injury recap for you guys, just so you know heading forward. What are your guys' thoughts on these injuries? Are you concerned? Do you think that Bill Belichick needs to make any trades, signings, or releases? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe yet. Join the Patriots Global family, and make sure you guys like this video. It seriously helps me and the channel out a whole lot. And again, if you guys would like to donate to the channel, of course, it is not mandatory, but it does help out a whole heck of a lot because this is my full-time job. There will be a tip jar in the link in the description, along with the link where you can grab some Patriots Global merch. Make sure you guys share this video with everybody who knows so we can go to the Patriots Global family. And other than that, I will catch you guys in another video.